Brothers and sisters, blessed Sunday. I'd like to share with you today a little testimony, really wonderful, refreshing story that I personally experienced. It was about a few weeks ago. I went to a prayer meeting here in Rome, and prayer meeting was really vibrant and beautiful, and it was lovely to have this experience, to see others in another culture praising the Lord. It just showed me again the universality of the gospel. We speak a different language, but yet we're speaking the same language, the language of the gospel, of faith in Christ. And at this meeting, there was a man. He came forward at the end, and it was his first time. Apparently, he just walked into the church. It was my first time as well. And he walked into the church, and he was sort of desperate. And at the end, he asked everyone, because we were praying with different people, and he asked, could he receive prayer? And he said aloud that he was having some really personal issues in his life, and which some of them he didn't go into. And one of the things is that he said that he had some anguish with his son, who hadn't spoken to him in a while and hadn't heard from him, and he was worried about him, etc. So everybody prayed over him and asked the Lord, to really help him, give him strength in his cross, heal him of any affliction, etc., and to open up his son's heart, and etc. And anyway, so about 2-3 minutes afterwards, after the prayer, he left the prayer meeting, and maybe about 2 minutes later, he came back in on the phone, and he was just overcome with joy and this astonishment, and he was saying to everyone, "My son is on the phone. He just called me," and he hadn't heard from him in a long time, and somehow the son's heart was moved to call his father. It was just these moments of grace, that we're not alone, that the Lord is there. And how many times does he not, answer our prayers in all sorts of ways, ways that we don't always expect or plan for or understand, but he does. And so just a nice little testimony for your Sunday. Just want to carry on a little bit from the theme from yesterday. We spoke about Bishop Emmanuel, Saint Manuel, telling us about the importance of a lively faith, having a heart that is this open to going to receive Christ in communion, and that this really, in a great way, depends on how we are accustomed to recognizing Him there. And the art of Eucharistic adoration helps us to really grow in the disposition to really know this is the Lord and have the faith that this is the Lord. The more we spend time in front of Jesus in the Eucharist, it will sink into us, this truth that we may know, but that truth will catch fire in us in different degrees. Pope Benedict said something very similar as well. He said, how could we know what we consume if we're not in the habit of adoring the Eucharistic Lord? So, there's this real connection between the two. I just want to say, first of all, that by these days and these weeks that we're speaking about Eucharistic adoration, I don't want to take Eucharistic adoration out the right context. How to say this? In the sense that Eucharistic adoration, the Lord Himself, is the source and summit of our Christian life, and He is the focal point. But of course, what Saint Manuel is saying, and even what I'm saying, is important to note, that not saying that you have to be in front of the Lord 24 hours, 24/7. This is not in keeping with many of our states of life, our vocations. We have missions. Saint Manuel himself, as much as he loved to do adoration, he was busy in mission, helping the poor as well. He was doing so many things, but he was drawing life from these precious moments in front of the Eucharist, which he did give many hours to. But it was in view of going out to transform the world and loving people as well. And when he was in adoration, he was loving people too, because he was praying for people, and that's a great penance sometimes, is to put aside time to go to the Lord to pray for people as an act of love. Helps sharpen our charity. But the point is that we do what we can. And maybe somebody's 5 hours of adoration might be somebody's 1 hour, if that's what God's will is for them, because God has different things in store, and He can give you a blast of His energy and His presence in a short period of time, if that's all you could give to the Lord legitimately because of all the demands on your life. So sometimes, when we're coming to really discover the Lord in adoration, maybe you've experienced this tension before, is that sometimes we might feel bad, I can't get to him enough or whatever, but we have to balance that with the rest of the duties of our life, of state, which is really crucial. But the whole point of these days is to see to that meeting the Lord in adoration is the engine, it's fire, it's life, that it's the encounter, it's a supernatural encounter that gives us the very reason for our existence, which is loving union with Christ, that we go to adoration to receive the love of Jesus and to adore him back with that love. As he fills up our heart by being attentive to his presence, we're then filled with energy and life and hope to go back out into the world. So, let your state in life be in a balance with how much you get to adore.